Good evening and welcome. Let's take a look at our top story that we are tracking for you. The world's 20 richest countries are meeting soon in Rome. World leaders are gathering for two-day summit. The focus is on three things: climate, COVID-19, and building back better. Before the G20 summit commences on the 30th of October, we tell you what the summit is all about and what it means for the world. Now, the name stands for the Group of 20. It refers to the 20 countries that are a part of this. It includes some of the world's richest countries, including the US, the UK, France, the EU, China, Russia, India, and others. This year, Italy is heading the G20 presidency. Combined together, the group are the heavy hitters on the international stage. 60% of the world's population live in these countries. They control more than 80% of the world's economic output. While it is a less exclusive group than the G7, the G20 countries have very little in common. They are characterized by diverse political systems and leaders who seldom agree on most things. Now, this is the first time the G20 leaders are gathering in person since 2019. Now, the last year's summit was held virtually due to COVID-19, but even this year, some leaders are giving the summit a miss. This includes crucial world leaders like Russian President Vladimir Putin and Chinese President Xi Jinping. Now, President Xi hasn't left China since the pandemic began, but plans to participate in the summit virtually. The agenda is vaccines and global economic recovery, but also in focus is climate change. The G20 countries account for 80% of the global carbon emissions, so the summit is considered an important stepping stone before the United Nations COP26 climate summit next week in Scotland. It also aims to underline that richer nations should contribute $100 billion every year to help developing nations adapt to climate change. For more on this story, our principal diplomatic correspondent, Siddhant Sibal, is joining us live on the broadcast from Rome. Good evening to you, Siddhant. Now, can you break up in a nutshell just how this G20 is crucial for the world as powerful leaders are gathering with a clear focus on the planet, which is in peril, and fixing the supply chains, which have been jolted by the pandemic?
Well, yes, Alison, this is the biggest in-person gathering of world leaders amidst the COVID pandemic. The summit happens on 30 and 31st. Even though some leaders are giving it a miss, the fact that world leaders are gathering shows the intent to meet in person to solve global issues, whether it's the COVID crisis, climate change, the economic impact of COVID crisis. And while G20 emerged out of the financial crisis of 1997 and 2008, increasingly it has taken a political role as well. Earlier this month, it held a meeting on Afghanistan, and Afghanistan is, of course, expected to be the top focus during the meeting as well, the G20 summit as well. The Indian Prime Minister, of course, leaves from New Delhi for Rome tomorrow, and we know that India is all set to become part of the Troika along with Indonesia and Italy, and this Troika basically is the governance structure as to who hosts the summit. So India, of course, hosts the summits in 2023. So a lot of focus during this year's summit, in a nutshell, making sure that the world is able to come up with a common solution and consensus amidst so many challenges.
Siddhant, can we expect any major declaration from this mega summit?
Well, yes, Alison, we can expect a lot of declarations because this has been the tradition of G20 when it comes to major declaration, but also a lot of proposals as well. Remember, the Indian Prime Minister in his first G20 meeting, which was in 2014, the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi's first G20 meeting in Australia, he gave the proposal on black money, and since then he has been giving proposals. So this time, of course, it won't be different, but do expect this time his focus is expected to be arguably on the issue the region and the world is facing, that is Afghanistan. So Afghanistan, we can expect some kind of major mention when the leaders come out with the joint communique.
Dan, thank you very much, and you will of course be keeping us up to date with all the latest coming out of that G20 meet.
WION, now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.